Hi guys. Well, we continue our journey in the quarter of duality, and today there will be some interesting topics to discuss in this duality stuff. And yesterday in my time, we entered the two gates of the cross of the Maia, the gate of continuity, duration, and the gate of growth, increase. The 32nd gate in the sun, and in the earth, the 42nd gate. And these two gates, as I said, are part of the right angle cross of the Maia. And also, these two gates are very special to me. First of all, today is the 14th, not the 13th. The 14th of October is my son's birthday. And also in this week, a few of my friends were born. So these two gates are interesting. And of course, another mechanic reason why these gates appear in my life so much is that my design nodes are the harmonic gates of these two gates. So I meet these people all the time and I love them, and especially I love the one that that is having his birthday. And there's another friend who has her birthday today, Suranda. And a few, as I said, a few friends, their sun is in the 32nd gate, or their earth is in the 32nd gate. So these people are part of my life, and I'm happy for that. So the balloons are for all of you. Happy birthday, and let's celebrate what's happening in the Maia. So the gate of continuity, this is a very unique gate for me, really very, very unique. And in the first line, the sun exalts the first line. So it's a very beautiful line, and we will look at it. So first of all, the gate of continuity, duration. The only thing that endures is change. Now this is so beautiful because, you know, my life, I'm very transformative person, and my life went through so many changes. And I was a single mom to my son, and my son, which has this gate of duration in the first line in his son, was really the changes were very difficult for him. And it's so interesting to see how he got this lesson to live with me, and his nodes, his unconscious nodes, are in the third line as mine. And it's very interesting to see how the unconscious way, the body needed all these bonds made and broken, and lack of continuity, yes, and trial and error, but his personality is very conservative. This gate is very, very conservative. The first line is called conservation, where we will read it in a minute. But let's talk about the gate and the channel of transformation, a design of being driven. Now, this channel is very, very unique because the gate, the 54th gate, the gate of the Marian Maiden, the gate of ambition, is the fuel to transform. And it's the fuel, it's the driven fuel that needs to be recognized by higher or lower forces, yes, but needs to be recognized in order to really fuel the transformation. And it wants to transform everything and go up the ladder and just burst with ambition. But the 32nd gate checks, and with its conservatism, looks what really worth transformation. And if we look at the first line, that is the foundation of the hexagram, it says a life sustaining respect and attention to all aspects of a process. The potential to develop the instinct through detailed attention to a process. And this is very beautiful because with all this ambition, and by the way, my son has the whole channel so I can watch it, and I'm of course in compromise to this. So I'm watching how even when there is a lot of ambition and there is a lot of drive, he's not just running into things. Never. He checks and investigates all the aspects of the process before things are happening, and before he takes the action, and it's all in response, and it is so beautiful to see. And I really, only human design got me into appreciating and seeing how not running into things, even though he's not emotional, but not running into things, but checking and observing and investigating all the aspects of the process. This is so beautiful. So I really learned and still learning from watching his behavior and the way he makes decisions. Very interesting. This gate holds within itself the fear of failure. The reason for this fear of failure is this is a tribal gate in a tribal channel, and we are talking about the tribe, that the whole purpose of the tribe is is continuity, yes, to continue the species. And this is a tribal gate in the quarter of duality that wants to continue the life of the tribe, the existence of the tribe. And the fear here, the fear of failure, is the fear from not succeeding to continue the tribe, the life of the tribe, the existence of the tribe. So of course, in an individual way, this is the fear of failure. But if we look at the whole picture, the drive, the tribe has this drive to continue being, existing. Very interesting. We're talking about the ego circuit, we're talking about the tribe, the mundane life of the tribe. So it's about individual survival on the material plane. We said it's conservative. Conservative doesn't easily embrace change, but when it has to embrace change, it will do it in a correct way, in a way of respecting all the aspects of the process. This is, of course, the first line, and every line has its own relationship with duration, with continuity. The key word, of course, is support. There's also this stream of instinct in the ego circuit, which talks about smelling, this instinct that smells success or failure or people. And also in this stream, there's the memory in the liquids of the body. So sometimes these people have issues with the liquid of the body because of memory issues that is in those liquids. So this is the gate of duration, and we are going to experience and feel and talk about continuity or lack of continuity, and will we exist or not. The 42nd gate, the gate of growth, another beautiful, amazing gate. And this is the gate of ending. Yes, it's from the format channel of maturation, a design of balanced development. This is the format energy of cycles. This is all about beginning something in a correct way, going through the experience, learning through this cycle, and then ending correctly the cycle. This is the correct way of this format energy. And the 53rd gate, which is the gate of beginnings, when it operates correctly, it's the drive to begin things that can be ended. Not always by the person who carries the gate, if it's only the 53 gate, but it's about the correct way is entering things that can be ended. And the 42nd gate is the same thing. It needs to get into things in order to end them correctly. Now, it's so beautiful to see this quote from Arthur Miller, who was born on this cross on the 32nd gate in the third line. And he says, if I see an ending, I can work backward. And this is really summarizes the 42nd gate in this aspect of ending. And the problem or the challenge for people who carry this gate is that if they don't enter correctly into relationships or other endeavors, then they can't get out correctly, and sometimes they can't get out. They're stuck in this cycle, they can't end it, and the whole lesson of this channel of maturation is to mature through correct cycles. And it doesn't mean that in these cycles will be good according to the homogenized way of thinking, but if they are the correct cycles, then we can mature through them. And of course, it's not only the people who carry this energy, but this is the energy of the experiential way. We go through cycles. And if we don't enter the cycles correctly, we can't end them correctly, and the lesson is not done. And then, or we can be stuck in one relationship or one thing without having the opportunity to get out, or we can have the same lesson again and again and again as a cycle that is not ending. It's interesting, the expansion of the resources which maximizes the development of full potential. This is really about growth. And if we take the gate of development, the 53, and we combine it with growth, we have maturation. So this is our grounding this week. Interesting things continue to happen besides the sun and the earth. We have here a nice representation of of the stream of taste. We have Jupiter in the line, in the gate of correction, in the line of the incompetent, and we have Mercury with the practical solutions, and of course we have the fighter. We have still this individual fighting energy from Pluto and Mars in the gate of the fighter, the 38 gate. Well, a few hours ago, Venus got into the gate of the wagon, the gate of power skills, 14th gate, possession in great measures. And of course, if we empower in a correct way our direction in life, if the people that carry this gate, especially generators, if they respond and they go and they put this amazing energy, powerful energy of the 14th gate and empower the correct direction, the correct thing they need to do, then they have a very good potential to fool their wagon with possession in great measure. On the 15th of October, what we're going to experience is the Sun and the Earth in the third line, and these two third lines are very, very unique. The 30-second duration in the third line is called lack of continuity, and this is really the bonds weighted broken, lack of continuity, yes, in the quarter of duality. And the 42nd gate in the third line is the only line in the whole Ravi Jing that is called trial and error. And let's see, the lack of continuity is indecision in times of transformation, or a lack of instinct in times of transformation. And the trial and error has a very nice line of a lesson. In times of increase, mistakes are a natural part of the process. I love this line. I really love this line, this lesson. And the two sides are the power to accept mistakes as part of growth. Beautiful. Or mistakes give power to moodiness and caution. And again, Arthur Miller, who was born exactly on these two lines, says maybe all one can do is hope to end up with the right regrets. So this really summarizes this pair of gates in the third line beautifully. Now, in the 16th of October, between 3:25 and 4:53 GMT, we are going to experience the moon in the 42nd gate in the third line in detriment, because the moon fixes this line on detriment. So this is going to be a very strong 1 hour and a half that mistakes gives power to moodiness and caution. Both Earth and Moon, I think it's better we sleep this time. I think I'm sleeping at this time, or no, I'm already woken up. Oh God, interesting hour. We can watch. On the 17th, what happens is the moon gets into the gate of the driver, the gate of higher knowing, the direction of the self, and forms a global conditioning pattern with Venus, the channel of the beat. And this is a very individual channel, and Oscar Wilde, who's also born this week, his sun is in the 32nd gate in the second line. He's a 2-4. So he says, very individual. He's got the channel of power and the channel of inspiration and the channel of genius to freak and something else. But this is the 3 individual channels. And he says, society exists only as a mental concept. In the real world, there are only individuals. It's beautiful to see how the individual sees life. So this is also another cross of the Maia. So he talks about society, which is part of the Maia. Beautiful to see. And then we are going to have the channel of power for something like close to 24 hours. On the 18th, in the GMT, 10 GMT, we are going to experience Venus getting into the gate of might in the sacral, the 34th gate, and combining with Mercury, and we are going to see the archetype, not of a ninja turtle, but of a human. This is a channel of power, and we are going to feel it strongly, and of course we are going to feel the 32nd gate and the 18th gate very strongly. We add the 42nd, everything, and even, of course, the 5th gate that Saturn just sits there forever. And all this will be very strong for us as a global conditioning pattern. And of course, the people that combine individually to this are going to feel it even stronger. So I would like to share a little some pondering I had on this quarter of duality with these 2 gates that talk about continuity and growth, and they really connect very strongly, to me, they connect very strongly to duality, not only because the 32nd gate is here but in this quarter, but also the channel of maturation. It's all about the cycles of life, and it's all about relationships. So I just, because I work with couples and I see things again and again, and it's interesting because I was working with relationships. I think since I was 15, my friends would ask me and I would advise them. I got this abstract mind, which is all about relationships. So the human design just showed me that as a projector, I was doing my job, and I even remember some conversations I had as a teenager with friends and showed them things that I wouldn't say differently today. The only thing that today I got this tool of mechanics and I can really see how it works and why it works like that. But the seeing was always there. So I just want to say some things. First of all, about bonding. I heard Ra, and that was really, this was some kind of new way of understanding, and it really opened a huge way of, huge change in the way I see things about bonding. He said in one lecture, I don't remember where, that the word bonding comes from chemistry, the way two things bond in chemistry. And then I really realized that this bonding, the real bonding, is not just, what the genes just push us together to find, they push, they make us be attracted to the opposite and all this. No, the bond, the chemical bond is not everything can bond with the other. This is really special. And when it bonds, it creates a new thing. And this is the true relationship. This is the true bonding, the correct bonding between two people that really got into this bond according to strategy and authority. So this is very strong. It's not just attraction. It's not all this not self realm, not self relationships realm, which is really ugly, and it's getting more and more. It's getting uglier. Oh my God. And the mystical purpose of this fulfillment by bonding is measure to measure. And I really want to get into it, because what we see in the not self world is the measure for measure, but in a not self way. This is the comparison, this is the fighting, this is the blaming. You're not good enough for me, you need to change, and all this comparison. But measure for measure is really part of the bond when it's correct, because the people who came to life, to this round of life, through the quarter of duality, it means that the personality sun is in the quarter of duality. They're here to fulfill themselves through the correct bonding. Of course, it doesn't need to be one bond, it can be many bonds. But we're talking about this yin and yang dance. It's not every relationship. It's true that, yes, relationships are important for all of us, with everyone, but for these people, the bond, the yin-yang bond, is very important. Now, it's not the bond that's important, but the way they evolve in the way they get to know themselves through this bond. It's not that the bond is the thing and I will do anything to keep the bond. No, this is not self-relationship. Clinging to a connection, to a bond, or to a relationship that doesn't work because of our conditioning, this is not fulfilling through bonding. Fulfilling through bonding is growing and evolving as an individual in the bond, and learning to respect the other after I've learned to respect myself, and so on. And measuring is part of the Maia, of course. We know that the word Maia comes from the word Ma, and Ma is from measuring in one of the ancient languages. So being here in the Maia is part of being here in the Maia. One of the huge parts of being here in the Maia is really bonding and creating more in order for this Maia to continue. And these people who came in the quarter of duality are I would say, allowed to measure and compare and do all these things in their bonding, if it's correct, not as a not self-measuring game, but as a correct measuring game. Because when we are alone, there's nothing that we can compare ourselves to or measure. We can't measure if we are one. But the minute we meet another one, there is a game of comparison, or let's say measuring. Now, I always say that, and I will say that again, that the biggest issue or the biggest challenge in relationship is type. And it's true that we know, we know theoretically that we should be with our own type. And for me, I understand it completely. I have no I have no doubts about it whatsoever. I know it has to go like that. But we are in this life, and most of the people we meet are not in the are not in the experiment. And even people that are in the experiment, it takes time until you really become yourself. And also everyone has his own, their own pace and way that things are happening for them. And not all of the people, let's say most of the people, will not let go of the idea that they can be with another type, and they meet people and they try all kind of relationships. So first of all, what I want to say is that if we enter correctly, and this connects to our gate 42 and also to the channel of maturation, if we enter a relationship in a correct way, then it is something that will teach us what we need to learn. And maybe we get into this relationship with another type in order to learn that it doesn't work. It also can be, or it can teach us what it needs to teach us in this period of time, in this cycle, in this moment. And everything that is done according to strategy and authority is part of our journey. The thing is that the not self clings to a relationship. The not self wouldn't let go, and most of the relationships that I see are not self relationships, and the not self even sometimes gets into the experiment in order to fix the relationship or to prove that it can work or whatever, and uses the knowledge of the human design as a way to blame the other, or to blame is the best word here, to put the responsibility of the connection on the other, understanding my mechanics, or the other starts to live according to their type in order to fix the relationship, and so on and so on. And this just wouldn't work, because if we come to this experiment in order to fix a relationship, it wouldn't work. This is not a correct motive. This is not a true motive to get into this experiment, and therefore it wouldn't work, because one collapses into this experiment when they're ready to transform, when they're ready to get back to who they were born as, and to fulfill, first of all, the acceptance of oneself, the acceptance of our limitations, the acceptance of our type, the acceptance of who we are. And only when we do this, then we can look at the other and respect his differentiation. And when we use the simple knowledge of mechanics to blame each other and to correct each other, it would never work. And this is really the ugly part of this duality. Yes, we can take the information and just make a mess out of it, and it just doesn't work. We need to remember that we are here as pure individuals. I mean, we are alone in this journey, and even the people who were born on the quarter of duality, and their fulfillment is through bonding and through connecting with the other, still the journey is, we are alone in our spaceship. The journey is alone. We sit alone in the back seat. There is no room for another one. It's true that these two crystals, when they are correct, they can really dance beautifully, as we see here. And the people that came from this quarter, they will not be fulfilled if their bonding wouldn't be correct and flourishing. All the other people that weren't born in this quarter, they are led to this trap. I think that the main reason is the process of planning, that conditions us to be so tribal and sticky and marriage and all this, but humanity as a whole is very conditioned to this fulfillment through duality, which is not correct for 3/4 of humanity. So these other people that come from the other quarters, if they put the emphasis in their lives on relationships and they really believe that this is their fulfillment, they will never be fulfilled. And unfortunately, I know some people, they are not in the experiment, but I really watch them. I know them for a few years, and I notice how they lose it because they are going after, they are chasing this purpose of finding the correct one and running through the sunset, running to the sunset with him or with her, but they didn't come from duality, and they just miss the whole thing. It's like the purpose is there, but they just don't see it, and they will never feel fulfillment. And in this, one of the cases is a generator, and I just see the frustration, and it just wouldn't work, and my heart goes out for him, but I don't initiate. So when he asks, I will explain. And if we are doing this, if we are running after this bonding stuff and it's not our thing, it's also we'll never get this satisfaction or success or peace or whatever from the relationship. It wouldn't happen. Relationships for all of us are very important and they're part of our lives, but the feeling of fulfillment will not come from there. So this is important to see, because if we want to be satisfied or successful or peaceful, or, then we really need to concentrate in our design. And I'm not talking about learning, I'm talking about strategy, yes, being our type, deciding according or following our inner authority's decisions or our decision-making process, and sleeping alone. And when we do this, our individuality comes out, and then the true fulfillment shows itself, and the road takes us where we need to go. And for the people of duality, you need to remember that you need to be first. You need to be individual in order for this duality to work. And for all the others, if you leave your individualism, your differentiation, then you will have good relationships and correct relationships, and you would have your fulfillment without connection, or not as part of this duality. So this is for today, and I hope we're going to have a nice Maia week with a lot of continuity, lack of continuity, development, growth, and individualism. Bye-bye.